Hello and welcome to the next YouTube video on my channel. I am Roman and in this video I will show you the very crazy chess trap in the Alban counter gambit. This isn't really a famous opening in the game of chess, but I guess that if you play a lot and you're an advanced chess player, then you have at least mentioned or witnessed one game with it. It starts with pawns to d4 and d5, followed directly by pawn to c4. This is called the Queen's Gambit, after which also the very famous series on Netflix has been named. And now black continues with pawn to e5. This is the key, also called the main move of the Alban counter gambit, because here with pawn to c4 white gambits his pawn, offers a gambit, and now black plays the counter gambit, so gambits his two or offers to gambit his pawn too. And here white has to decide now whether they want to play pawn to e3 and decline the gambit, which leads into lots of different and interesting variations, like for example the Lasker trap, or if they want to accept the gambit by capturing black's pawn here on e5 with their d-pawn. We continue with pushing our pawn once we're forward now on d4, on which our opponent answers with pawn to e3, offering a pawn trade here between the d and the e pawn. There's an intention behind this, because white definitely wants to develop his knight on c3 in the future of the game, but right now it's not possible because of the black pawn on d4. So therefore black does not accept the trade, but rather plays the very important move, which is bishop to b4 with check. And now white has to decide whether they want to block the check with the knight or with the bishop by moving it on d2. And however, already just said, white wants to develop his knight on c3 in the future, therefore they are blocking the check now with bishop to d2, on which we sacrifice our bishop by capturing white's pawn here on e3 with our d-pawn. This is just the full sacrifice of our bishop here now. White will now just capture our now undefended bishop on b4, thinking that we've just blundered a light chess piece. But this was definitely not a blunder, but rather a tactical sacrifice with an intention. And now I'll show you why. Because after the black bishop has taken the gift, they became now 3 points up in terms of points of material, but instantly got into a losing position. Because now we continue with pawn captures pawn on f2 with check, and here the white king has to be very careful, because they cannot just capture our pawn here on f2 back, because they would instantly lose their queen like this. Therefore the white king, after pawn captures pawn on f2, is forced to escape from the check on e2 now. And now we continue with the crazy move. We capture our opponent's knight here on g1. Well, that's not crazy, this is just obvious, but we can transform it now also into a knight. And I'll just use, let's say, the knight from b8 here, because I don't have 3 knights. Because this is check now, and actually for white, the best move in this position would be not to capture the knight here on g1 with the rook, which seems to be logical, but actually to move away from the check to escape either back again on e1 or on f2 here. But I think that lots of players who play the white chess pieces here would do the mistake and capture the black knight here on g1, on which we play the very important and crazy move, which is bishop to g4 with check, winning the queen. Because now the king is forced to move away, let's say on e1, and then queen captures queen, or bishop captures queen, winning the queen. And I can also see where it was very important that we could not play bishop g4 instantly, but we had to wait before the knight on g1, the white knight here, which is not on g1 anymore, has been captured by our pawn here on f2. So on bishop to g4, the king, let's say, escapes on e1, queen captures queen on d1 with check, on which we start a little checkmate hunt behind the white king. He can now only escape on the only possible square left, then that's f2. Now queen to d4 with check, king escapes on g3. Now we could actually capture the opponent's rook here on g1 with the queen, but why? We are still winning. Queen to e3, let's say king escapes on h4, now pawn to g5, king captures bishop, pawn to h5, king escapes on the only left possible square, which is f5, and now queen to f4 should be checkmate. So of course there were also other different variations how to hunt down the king to checkmate, but after the queen lost, white has already completely lost because of falling for the bishop gambit some moves before in the game. And this was it already with this video, in which I have shown you the very crazy checkmate in, I would say, probably 15 move strap with the Alban counter gambit with the black chess pieces against white playing the queen's gambit. I hope that you liked the video. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, bye.